As Strange's grip tightened and the gates of Arkham City slammed shut on Gotham's criminals, only 3 were left at large: Two-Face, Catwoman, and Batman. Catwoman sat in her apartment, debating whether to flee, when her phone rang. On the other end, the unmistakable voice of Two-Face. "Sorry, kitty cat, but one of us had to go down." Suddenly, Tiger Guards were at her door. Fleeing, Catwoman fought her way through guard after guard to the safety of a nearby roof. She could only watch as the guards ransacked her apartment until they found her safe. She readied her claws, but a shadowy figure appeared behind her and held a gloved hand over her mouth until she passed out. Catwoman came to in the Batmobile as it raced through the streets of Gotham. She angrily told Batman that he should not have gotten involved. Batman told her to give up on her loot and leave town before it was too late. Undeterred, she asked how Batman knew so much about Arkham City. He explained that he had found a secret room in Sharp's office back at Arkham Asylum, filled with detailed plans for the new prison complex. Catwoman thanked him and pressed the emergency eject button on her seat. The Batmobile screeched to a halt, but it was too late. Catwoman had disappeared, and Batman knew exactly where she was headed. Two-Face was already in the warden's office in Arkham Asylum, photographing the plans to the secret vault inside Arkham City. As Catwoman burst into the room, Two-Face laughed as he tossed the originals into the fire. Furious, she knocked him to the ground, grabbed the camera, and ran. With seemingly no escape for either of them, and the Tiger Guards alerted and closing in fast, Catwoman was suddenly pulled to safety by Batman, leaving Two-Face to be captured. As Catwoman ascended, she opened the camera to reveal her prize, only to find the memory card had vanished. She looked down on Two-Face, who was showing her the card, before calmly swallowing it. Furious, Catwoman sliced through the line and plummeted to the ground, only to be surrounded by Tiger Guards, arrested, and taken to Arkham City. So I think there's a few things that we can talk about with this. One is that this clearly is one of the events leading up to Arkham City.
No, it's super cool because it's showing that as Hugo Strange is, like they said, tightening the grip on Arkham City, getting everyone gathered in, there were certain people left at large that he needed to wrangle in, basically, and he's got all of his fleet, basically, focused on these two people, and they're still going after each other. They're still attacking each other, Two-Face and Catwoman. It's such a fun rivalry in the game. It's really cool to see it in this setting too, leading up to it.
It actually mattered before the game too.
Yes.
And really that sort of leads us up to Batman at the very beginning, where they grab Bruce and throw him in Arkham City. That was the last cleanup.
That was it.
He was the only one left after this. And did you notice the hidden Easter egg is mentioned in this as well? The Quincy Sharp's office.
Which was one of the coolest parts of Arkham Asylum, is when, and I can't believe people found it actually, because it was just on this random wall, then you line up the 3 explosive gels, it explodes. It was such a cool thing to see, and the hype for Asylum to City was, I don't know if I've been so hyped for a game ever. When you see those plans, the trailers start dropping, but that was one of my favorite Easter eggs that I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Well, it's really cool they tie it in, so it's canon Batman found that.
Yes.
It's not just the player randomly comes across it. It's in story, Batman did find the hidden office.
Oh, yeah.
And the plans for Arkham City ahead of time, which also ties in to Bruce campaigning against it, if you think about it.
Yes.
Because, he knew what Quincy Sharp was up to. He knew that it was Arkham City ahead of time. And so then with Hugo Strange also tied to that, he campaigned against it as Bruce Wayne leading up to the events of the game.
Which eventually led to his capture.
Yeah.
So was Strange playing 3D chess this whole time?
4D chess.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. There's a lot here to sort of go into, and it's pretty cool how much thought they put into the background of these stories.
I know. It's incredible. And it actually adds a lot to leading up to the first events of the game where Catwoman's captured by Two-Face, and there's an even deeper rooted rivalry there. And you already thought it was more of just a back and forth thing. She was trying to, steal from the vault. He was. Nonetheless, this adds another layer to it. I guess that's really cool. So
it is. That's really awesome.
Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, is the first and only inmate to have escaped from Arkham City. Using explosives stolen from the Penguin, he waited until the Tiger's shift change. blasted his way through the containment wall and went on the run in Gotham City. Furious, Hugo Strange ordered his Tiger operatives onto the streets to focus all their attention on finding Black Mask, who was finally recaptured after a violent siege at the meatpacking plant he owned. Promising that no one else would ever escape again, Strange fitted a series of automated machine guns to the walls of Arkham City, designed to kill anyone who else dared to try.
Oh my gosh, so there's multiple things here too. Not only does this explain why the guns are at every exit, right?
Yes.
Because that's one thing too, and you would assume for security, but it's a little overkill. But
Big time.
obviously it's not, because someone got out ahead of the events.
Oh yeah, and the cool part too is you scan this obviously, and the image behind it is where you scan this Easter egg. Are the machine guns pointed down at the ground too? I guess you know what I mean, because I'm thinking of the machine guns when you're Batman and you try to go over the walls. There's it turns you back and he's dodging bullets. So is it talking about those or the ones that are inside of the?
Well, I think there's those up top.
Yeah.
But then there's also the ones at each exit door. So he gets to the wall, he blows the hole in the wall. Then he goes out the hole. And that's actually patched in game.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's there must be guns in there as well.
That's crazy.
So
yeah.
it's sort of like it beefed up all of the Arkham City security because of that.
If he got captured again, and that was his readmittance in Arkham City, because when you see him, he's fighting off guards and is still basically fighting as if he was almost recaptured, I guess. You know what I mean?
That's what I think
so
it is.
That does make sense, but I could also see it the other way too, where he just doesn't want to get captured. Obviously, he's Black Mask. He's got to,
But the reason I do think it's this is because that hole in the wall is there the entire time.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So he would have to basically get thrown in Arkham City and escape right away. So I think you're probably right.
Yeah, but it's interesting to think about too. And how all of this lines up with a timeline. It's a lot of these Arkham City stories are lead-ups to the game and the main events in it.
Yes. Yeah, they really do. And it's cool how, these stories legitimately are adding a substantial amount to the plot and the characters as well. Because, it was the same thing with the Catwoman and Two-Face rivalry. This brings them into Arkham City and kind of fills in that filler between Asylum and City a little bit, where there's you're seeing how all these characters slowly got put in, and now you've got the game where everyone's basically in this battleground, and Hugo Strange was the orchestrator. It just gives a background even further, and for Black Mask, obviously we saw him for 2 seconds in the game, so it's cool to actually have more information on what happened to him too.
It's something we talk about too, that these games sometimes struggle with connecting characters to each other and just expect you to believe they are. But if you read the stories, they don't.
No.
They actually have that.
They give you context.
So,
yeah.